Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. Let's begin right here. Every day there's been big news. This article is from U.Today and it's titled, Huge SEC email suggest XRP is not a security. Oh man, everything continues to look good as we move forward. Little steps, but we're getting there. We're climbing the mountain one hold at a time. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, evidence of internal emails from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission suggests that there are reasonable grounds to believe that XRP, the controversial cryptocurrency associated with blockchain company Ripple, does not meet all the elements of the Howey test. You don't say. No wonder they fought so hard to keep these emails from seeing the light of day. But let's continue on. It says, and thus might not be classified as a security. The information was unearthed by John Deaton, a popular legal commentator, who highlighted references to the SEC emails in the footnotes of Ripple's opposition and reply briefs. Deaton expressed confusion as to why the potential implication of these emails was not given more prominence by Ripple's legal team. Interesting, isn't it? You let me know why you think that is in the comment section. It says, the emails cited as Exhibit 220 appear to argue that there are reasonable grounds to consider that XRP does not satisfy all Howey factors, a test used to determine whether certain transactions qualify as an investment contract. It says, this came as a surprise revelation to Deaton, who admitted he had initially overlooked the detail in the footnotes, despite having gone through thousands of pages of legal documents related to the case. Yeah, I completely understand that. That's happened to me a bunch of times where I'm looking over a PDF or a transcript, sometimes an article. And then, I notice a lot of things, but then I'll go back, I'll read it a second or third time. Sometimes I do that. I just pour over the information and I see things I did not see before. And it even happens in another way. Sometimes I read over a document. I may catch certain things. Someone else may read over a document, one of the subscribers or something like that. We have some very, very good investigators and researchers that are subscribers here, part of our family, and they'll notice something. So yeah, listen, with all the documentation we've been reading over, you can miss things. That's definitely possible. But the important part is that you caught it. You caught it. That's huge. That's major. So, we'll keep an eye on this. This is a very, very good development. And if John Deaton saw this, then the judge did. Oh, man. Things are looking good right now. Let's move on to another article here. I hope all of you are doing well. Before we get into this next article here, this next chapter, let me give some shout outs, okay, for everybody that came into the comment section the other day. First, shout out to Acareko, Akuma, Pay Me an XRP, Marky Mark, Puentes Asti, Keith, Corey, Head Trauma, Dr. Slimeball. Huge shout out to Dr. Slimeball. I was very happy to see your comment. And Bo Rabbit. It's funny. I was just saying to somebody, I was about to be done. Usually I respond to comments for like 30 to 40 minutes after the evening videos. And I was about to be done. And I was saying to somebody, I was saying, hey, I didn't see Bo Rabbit. Then I refreshed one more time. Bo Rabbit was right there. I was very happy to see that comment. These are my people. These are like my YouTube family. So when they get in the comment section, it doesn't matter if they leave an emoji or a real message. It always excites me. I always feel good. It makes the work worth it. So now let's move on here to another article. So this article here is from coinedition.com and it's titled, Ripple to file remaining redactions on June the 13th. This is from some legal expert. Let's see what they're talking about here. It says, according to Bill Morgan, a lawyer and digital asset enthusiast, the public will know how many of William Hinman's emails Ripple cited and included in its opposition and reply briefs on June the 13th. That is the date when the court expects Ripple to file the remaining allowed redactions in its case against the Securities and Exchange Commission. Morgan does not see the possibility of the public viewing all of Hinman's emails relating to the case. Let me pause there. I don't care about seeing all the emails personally. Like I don't need to see the emails at all. I'll tell you what I do need. I need Ripple to win this case. I need Ripple to use these emails to defeat the SEC. That's what I need. I need their lawyers to pour over everything and wield it like a weapon and bring home the victory. That's what I need. That's all. That's it. That's how I look at it. This is a weapon to be used to move forward, so we can finally reach that place that we needed to be all along, to realize and actuate on what XRP is all about. And that will cause a ripple effect through all the bank coins. It will free them all up. They all have a similar use case. That's all that I need. That's it. That's how I personally feel. I'm not asking you to feel the same. But let's continue on here. It says, Morgan does not see the possibility of public viewing all of Hinman's emails relating to the case unless the parties include them in a summary judgment brief. Not necessary, like I said. Opposition, not for me. Opposition brief or reply brief. William Hinman, we know who Bill Hinman is. So SEC earlier submitted a motion to seal Hinman's emails. We know that. And now they're getting the pain, like Mr. T would say, put on them. Ripple considers the motion denial another step toward victory in the ongoing case. I consider it that as well. The company's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, described, okay, then he go into this transparency thing here. So once again, we're getting closer and closer. We continue to rack up victories. And, you know, I know before I would say that we're getting wins and victories and people would say, oh, that's not a win. That's not a victory. But now you have these big publications even considering them victories. You see, you know, I try to be as reasonable as possible and give you the best possible deduction of what I view from the information. And these are victories. You know, they build up this. There's build up before a climax. That's in anything, whether it's a story, and life is sort of a story. In this case, you know, there has been build up and we're building up to a certain climax, and all of that build up has been positive. You get a negative and you get a negative or positive build up, right? We haven't been at a neutrality, so we have to lean one way or the other. It's been positive thus far. So I'm very happy with what's going on here. I think that Judge Torres will make a reasonable decision, even if, well, listen, we're just going to keep our minds in a positive space. I think we're going to win this case 100%. And if it goes to Supreme Court, you already know what's going to happen there. You know, if you didn't see that video from yesterday, just if that first chapter that was about Supreme Court, just take a gander at that. Just look at that, right? We would dominate them. Look at what the Supreme Court said. That was one of the biggest alley-oops we've gotten so far. How serious does Judge Torres take that of what the Supreme Court said, right? So that's another victory. That's another massive, alley-oop. And we're going to slam it like Kobe. We're going to slam it like Jordan. No one's going to stop us, right? All right, so now let's go here to a little bit of Stellar related news. We're back with BPV, continues to do big things. I like it when they come out with articles. So now this one here is titled Introducing Light Echo, a next generation smart contract price oracle on the Stellar Soroban platform. BPV, bring it home. Okay, do what you do. It says here, BP Ventures is delighted to introduce the Light Echo Oracle, a pioneering smart contract price oracle on Stellar's Soroban system as an essential addition to the ecosystem. The Light Echo Oracle aims to fill in gaps left by existing data providers, offering extensive coverage and depth of market data that is vital for advanced financial products. One of the Light Echo Oracle's distinguishing features is its focus on providing emerging market currency data. With our extensive experience and deep expertise in handling these types of data feeds, this focus empowers developers and companies to create more diverse and inclusive financial solutions, particularly for underrepresented and developing markets. Of course, we want to scrape up those trillions. It'll take some time, but we're getting there. This is good progression. Let's continue on here. This is where Chainlink's functionality is limited by the reliance on a token that does not exist on Stellar. The Light Echo Oracle is fully integrated with Stellar ecosystem, ensuring seamless operation and accessibility. So Stellar becomes even stronger, even better. And that's going to bring in more business, theoretically speaking. It says Orbit Lens is working on an Oracle data similar to Uniswap TWAP. While they continue to explore innovative ideas, they do not provide emerging market data or traditional market data. This is precisely the void Light Echo Oracle aims to fill, while modeling our smart contract to be a similar smart contract code structure, so switching between the two should be trivial. No problem at all. In conclusion, the Light Echo Oracle, with its extensive coverage of traditional and emerging market data, is poised to be a crucial addition to the stellar Soroban ecosystem. I love this company. They're always doing something major. They're always pushing Stellar forward. Let's keep going. Our mission is to provide developers and companies with the most accurate, comprehensive, and timely data possible, empowering them to build more sophisticated and inclusive DeFi solutions. To give some background detail, the Stellar, oh wait, what we they're going to talk about Stellar. This is for their clients. We know all about Stellar. All right, so BPV keep doing a good job. This is not the only thing they have going on. Let's go to another article here, another little bit of Stellar news. So we have this article here on BPV, .us. That's their website here, p.bpvventures.us. Let me correct that. And it's titled Blockchain and Mutual Fund Reform, Charting a Course in Uncertain Waters. So, let's read this a little bit. We're going to scroll down here to the paragraph that begins with the hard close, okay? It says the hard close, another SEC proposition, would place a strict cutoff at 4 p.m. Eastern time for mutual fund trading. Like these systems are so archaic. Anyway, let's continue on. It's a ruling that might cause consternation among those with defined contribution plans who can't always meet the 4 p.m. deadline. Sure, not that SEC cares, right? Unbelievable. Forcing them into a less favorable next day price, of course. The SEC is terrible, just my humble opinion. The potential fallout, a potential shift of assets to more flexible financial products, ironically at the cost of investor protections and higher expenses, of course. Furthermore, we have a swing pricing proposal. Look at BPV taking charge. Look at this. I like this company. The SEC suggests that fund value should swing with trading activity, making investors who exit pay their own way out, thus avoiding dilution for those who remain. While this seems fair, it comes with a baggage of operational difficulties and transparency issues, as investors won't know if swing pricing is in effect until after their transaction is processed. It's unbelievable how the SEC causes problems. What is wrong with this agency? It's unbelievable. It is like, I don't understand it. It's like they go against logic and there's much better options. Hey, it says enter the potential blockchain remedy. Here we get to the good part. Enter the potential blockchain remedy. The Stellar blockchain. Boom. BPV, keep doing a good job. I like where you're going. You have your head in the right place, kid. Anyway, the Stellar blockchain, known for its ability to upend traditional financial systems, presents some interesting solutions to these challenges. The prospect of 24/7 trading in blockchain-powered mutual funds can render the proposed hard close rule obsolete, giving investors the freedom to make transactions whenever they wish. Do it, BPV. Blockchain's potential for cost efficiency is a game changer. By drastically reducing transaction fees, it keeps mutual funds in the competitive race, allaying fears about investors seeking greener pastures with less restrictive financial products. Transparency and security hallmarks of the blockchain, Stellar, partially address investor concerns about the ambiguity of swing pricing. Transactions are visible to all participants and are immutable, which boosts transparency. Instant transaction processing, another feature of the blockchain, helps maintain liquidity even during market shocks, as investors may buy or sell fund shares on demand. It says, of course, while blockchain's potential is tantalizing, we are still in early innings of its application in the mutual funds industry. Don't I keep saying that this is a nascent industry? We're still at the beginning. I have to say that. You know why? There's so many people that come here and they say, no, blockchain's been around for a long time. Why hasn't it done anything yet? We're still in the beginning. We haven't even gotten to play yet. Not the utility coins, not the bank coins. Once we get past this case, we get past this case or regulatory clarity, whichever one. Now we're getting started. We're still at the beginning. All right. We haven't begun to see the potential of these things just yet. We're trying to get to that point, and we will, right? We're making good progression. This is nevertheless, as the sector weathers regulatory shifts and seeks innovative solutions for investor concerns, the blockchain is part of the solution roadmap to consider. The mutual fund industry's destiny may increasingly be tied to how it embraces and adapts this potentially revolutionary technology. And then they throw in the Franklin Templeton. Okay, this is a good article. I'm not easily impressed. I'm not. Firms like Franklin Templeton are already seeing exponential blockchain growth. I told you they were going to use that to bring in more business. Anybody on Stellar can use that and say, hey, look what Franklin Templeton's doing. Don't you want to use Stellar? It's good. Look at how much progress they're making. Look at how much money they're saving. We can help you do it. See, they're going to use that to bring more companies to Stellar. I love it. I love every little bit of it. All right, so now let's move on here. Little bit of Algorand news. So I have to keep it a little bit light here. Can't always be serious, okay? So this is from bncrypto.com. And it's titled Polygon, Solana, Algorand join forces for $50 million cross-chain investment fund. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says the Algorand Foundation, the Solana Foundation, and Polygon Ventures are all participating in the fund. Other investors include Aptos Labs, Circle, Jump Crypto, and a number of key players in the space. Together, participants in Borderless New Fund represent major stakeholders in some of the most popular blockchains today. By teaming up in the name of cross-chain interoperability, there goes that I told you. That capital is going to flow. There's enough money for everybody. Everybody who's legit. The future's bright. We just got to get over a few hurdles. That's it. It says, by teaming up in the name of cross-chain interoperability, participants are signaling their willingness to collaborate on projects that span diverse networks. Dan Reeser, head of operations at Wormhole Foundation, commented, quote, crypto is still a nascent industry. You see how everybody's saying this? They're trying to let the people know, hey, we're still at the beginning. I've been saying it. You just had this last article say it, BPV. Now you have the head of operations of Wormhole Foundation saying the same thing. We're still at the beginning. When it comes to utility coins, folks, there's no way around it. We haven't gotten to play just yet, but we're close. We're close. Patience wins the day. But you do what you want. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to be. Yes, I am just a, wait. I don't have another word to replace humble. Oh, well, I'm just a humble researcher. You're going to get tired of hearing that. It's true. That's why I am. I love it too. I love tearing apart these puzzles and putting them together. It says, crypto is still a nascent industry with essentially limitless growth opportunity. Limitless growth. Didn't I say that? I said, sky's the limit. The moon is not enough. If you're looking at the moon, you're going to miss the stars. And if you're looking at the finger pointing at the moon, you're going to miss all that heavenly glory. Who said that? Oh, you better stop playing. Who said that? Come on now. Master Bruce. I gave you some time, don't you? You should, how many bloods, put it in the comment section. It was Master Bruce. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Oh man, that was a good movie too. If you need a good movie to watch, good action, it is a martial arts action flick, but the story is powerful and deep. It's about Enter the Dragon, Master Bruce Lee. All right now, it says, and we should be doing nothing but working. Who the head of Wormhole? Who are you, Wormhole Foundation? I've never heard of you before, but I like that attitude. Outwork everybody. You know, be wise, be intelligent. You gotta work. You gotta put in that work. That's right. We should be doing nothing but working together. Okay, working together. Regardless of which specific networks individuals may be more passionate about. I agree, and stick together. Stick together. All right, so now let's move on to another article here. All right. I think we're making some good time today. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your chin up. Stay strong. If you're having a tough time, a lot of people are having tough times everywhere. It's tough times all across the globe. Keep your head up. You can make it. You have the strength to be great. Every single day we can improve. Never give up. Fight to your last bit of energy. And whatever it is, that's your fight. Hey, this is not advice. I'm just speaking for myself. But fight. You have it in you. You got to dig deep in those championship rounds. Oh, man, I've been through the hell. Oh, I've been through the hell. And I know when you dig deep and you just push that last little push, sometimes that's what gets you the victory. Sometimes that's what gets you through the day. You got to be willing to fight no matter what and not put down your sword or shield, metaphorically speaking. Be a Spartan, no retreat, no surrender, and know in your mind that the victory is already yours. You have to visualize the victory, whether it's getting a promotion, whether it's making a little extra money that week, whether you're at the gym lifting those weights. You have to visualize that the victory is already yours and commit to putting in that work, that willpower. If you can do that, you can do anything. Anything. Sky's the limit for you people. Sky's the limit. All right, now, take it from old Alphanim, I'm telling you. So now, money.usnews.com. This article is titled, Dedollarization, what happens if the dollar loses reserve status? Let's hear them out, see what they have to say. It says one of the more intriguing financial trends of 2023 has been the de-dollarization movement, which is why I'm watching the dollar, just in case. Maybe it doesn't have as big an impact as they say, or maybe it has a bigger impact. Any impact at all where it diminishes the value of the dollar, I need to know about that because I need to protect my value. I need to protect my value. I don't want to lose all this value that we worked so hard to accumulate, went through all these tough times to accumulate. There's absolutely no way. I don't play with value. I don't play with capital at all. So I keep my eye on the dollar. It says here, this is an effort by a growing number of countries to reduce the role of the US dollar in international trade. With so much of the world economy reshaping itself in the post-redacted landscape, is the reserve status of the US dollar going to be the next domino to fall? It says, after a period of stability on the monetary front, 2022 and 2023 have brought renewed calls for a meaningful alternative to the dollar. This started in 2022. Geopolitics isn't the only hot button issue. However, inflation is also weakening the standing of the dollar on the international stage. Since the 1980s, the United States has maintained a low and steady inflation rate, giving savers around the world the confidence to hold their assets in dollars. And that has now become a problem, obviously. It says over the past year, however, inflation has soared to previously unimaginable levels, calling into question the security and stability of the dollar for long-term savings and investments. This is why everybody was retreating and continues to retreat to gold and silver. You know, it says, as if that were enough, 2023 has brought the regional banking crisis. This is a good article. They're giving you everything. Silvergate, Silicon Valley, Signature, and First Republic were all large, credible American banking institutions that failed in succession. Other regional banks remain teetering on the edge at this time. That's something that everyone is forgetting. Not me. I'm keeping that on. That's right there at the forefront of my mind. It says, against this backdrop, leaders of countries such as China, India, Brazil, and 41 other countries. Did you see one of those other videos? I don't remember which one it was. One of the last two. We covered the 41 other countries trying to dump the dollar. Oh, my word. It says here, they have been calling for moves to trade directly with each other in their own currencies while cutting the US dollar out of the equation. This would incrementally diminish the role and importance of dollars while creating a multipolar financial world where the next tier of economies would have significantly more to say in global affairs. Now we get to this part here. What would happen if the dollar loses reserve status? It says it's important to realize that reserve status is something that historically has been gained or lost over a long time horizon. It's unlikely that the world will wake up one day with dollars no longer holding international appeal. No, see, this is what I'm saying. See, I try not to be an extremist. So I'm not saying, I wouldn't say the dollar will go all the way to zero. And I'm not going to say it's going to maintain full power. I don't think that's the objective here. I think the objective is just to greatly diminish the value and power of it, which would still have an impact on possible impact on those individuals in Western countries that are, dominated by the dollar. So let's continue on here. It says it's unlikely. Okay. It says rather, an example such as the British pound, there was a multi-decade process by which it went from the center of the world economics to a second-tier currency. That said, if the dollar gradually loses its place atop the world financial pyramid, what would happen next? For the US, it would likely mean less access to capital, higher borrowing costs, and lower stock market values, among other effects. Having the world's reserve currency status has allowed the US to run large deficits in terms of both international trade and government spending. If foreigners no longer want to hold dollars for savings, it will force significant belt tightening at home. So these are experts telling everyone this. It's no longer just me. Experts. As for what would replace the dollar, is hard to forecast at this point. It's possible to imagine a world in which the euro or Chinese yuan eventually, that's what they're saying. They're coming up with a common currency for BRICS. I don't know why you wouldn't put that in here. The BRICS wants a common currency, not to have the yuan or euro dominate, right? And like you said, I believe it's going to be multipolar. So we'll see what happens as they're developing. And not only that, keep in mind, you got to take into account, not only are they trying to come up with a common currency, a digital common currency, they're trying to back it with gold, which is another thing to take into account. You have to ask yourself, why are all these central banks buying record amounts of gold? Which is interesting, isn't it? It's very, very funny. The central banks are stocking up on record amounts of gold, but the regular people in the world, they're not. They're not. And the banks don't even say anything to their people. You see, it's unbelievable. These entities that say, we care about the people, we're going to take care of them, while they protect themselves, it's always a just in case. It's like, they're taking precautionary measures. I'm taking precautionary measures. Started doing that long time ago, as a matter of fact. But like the IMF, we want to help the people, World Bank, we want to help the people, but they never say, hey, listen, just in case, maybe having a little bit of gold and silver to maintain your value might help. Since there's a banking crisis, since the dollar is sort of in jeopardy, and we're not sure what's going to happen, positive or negative. Unbelievable. It says investment possibilities for a de-dollarized world. It says, to reiterate, it's rather unlikely that the dollar would simply stop being the world's reserve currency overnight. Who's saying that? I don't hear anyone saying that, but okay. That said, there is a distinct possibility that the dollar's overwhelming role in international trade and commerce could gradually diminish in coming years. I'll just put a little extra on top of that. I'll say it may happen quicker than anticipated, right? Particularly depending on how things such as the banking crisis and inflation play out. I'm glad they threw those variables in there because they definitely have an impact. Okay, this is an insanely impactful and dense article. Once again, if you want to read the rest of this, and I definitely recommend it, it's on money.usnews.com. It was on their front page. Once again, it's titled De-Dollarization: What Happens If the Dollar Loses Reserve Status. All right, so we're going to move on here because I have a few more articles. I wanted to get through all of them. So the banks continue to hurt. When are they not hurting lately? Lately, hey. I'm not in charge of them. I can have a laugh, right? So they make themselves out to be so bulletproof, but they've proven to be anything but that. So this article is also from money.usnews.com, and it's titled U.S. Bank Deposits and Credit Slip in Latest Week, Fed Data Shows. All right. People don't trust the banks anymore. They're sitting on a ton of cash. I've showed you article after article saying that. And there was an article today. It wasn't about regular people sitting on cash, even though they're sitting on huge piles of cash. It was about investors. Investors have been sitting on a huge pile of cash, but that's probably going to change coming up very soon, depending on what happens with the Fed and everything like that, with the pausing of the rate hikes. Then they'll probably have to play with some of that cash in certain assets, right? So a lot of different entities are sitting on cash. So they haven't been trusting the banks. But anyway, let's read this little tidbit here. It says deposits at all U.S. commercial banks. let me pause and let me differentiate. Of course, the regular people, a lot of them are pulling the cash out and they just keep it at home or something like that. They got vaults, and some people don't have vaults. Some people just keeping them in shoe boxes probably somewhere or something like that. Then, then also people are pulling out a lot of capital and they're going into precious metals and things like that. Investors obviously are probably having some sort of alternatives that they're holding in, and they probably are just, let's continue on here. It says, deposits in the week ending May 10th total $17.10 trillion on a non-seasonally adjusted basis, down from $17.16 trillion a week earlier. Listen, some can say, well, that's not much, but it's significant if you watch the consistent drop, right? And then you're keeping up with the news where deposits have been fleeing the banks and bank trust in the banks is at an all-time low. Then to me, that makes it very significant. Every single little leg down, right? So the Fed's weekly snapshot of the banking system's assets and liabilities showed deposits which had dropped substantially after the collapse in March. That's what I'm saying. See, I'm glad they said that, because they just supported everything that I was just trying to iterate. Deposits which had dropped substantially after the collapse in March of Silicon Valley Bank were down at large banks and little changed at smaller ones. Meanwhile, credit provided by banks dropped to $17.32 trillion from $17.37 trillion a week earlier, led by a decline in securities holdings. Loans and leases saw modest declines. All right, so now let's go to a little bit of gold news. Which, if you watched over the weekend, gold was holding its value, was holding its price very, very well. Platinum was also. I'm surprised at that. Platinum was holding its value very well as well. I think silver was down today like 0.001. It's not significant, but it was a little bit. It was down just the tiniest little bit. While before I made the video, I checked, man, everything else was red in crypto. Everything was red on my trading view chart, so you have to have things that balance each other out. Anyway, so this is from kitco.com, kitco.com, and it's titled "Gold Price Jumps as Fed Chair Powell Says Rates May Not Have to Rise as Much Due to Tighter Credit Conditions." So he's sort of iterating what Janet Yellen was saying, that because the banks are tightening up so much, they may not have to raise interest rates in June. But he put a little twist on it, because he's not saying that they won't do it at all. He's just saying it may not have to rise as much. You got to pay close attention to that wording. That wording is tricky, and they like to play with words. It says here, the gold market rebounded after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Yeah, so we saw that on Friday. It was like I think it was on Friday. So gold was it was consolidating for a few days. And then on Friday, boom, it just went up, right? Platinum went up also. And I think, don't let me forget, palladium also went up. If you look at those charts, you'll see that line go from it's like this, and then you just go, boom, like that. Just, I'm sorry, the sound effects let you know what I viewed. Boom. All right, anyway, you'll see that on the charts. So they all went up, right? Anyway, it says, it rebounded after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said rates might not have to rise as much due to tighter credit conditions after the banking sector turmoil. The after effects of the banking sector troubles took some pressure off the Fed to keep hiking rates. Powell said at the Thomas Lebach Research Conference Friday, quote, "The financial stability tools help to calm conditions in the banking sector. Developments there, on the other hand, are contributing to tighter credit conditions and are likely to weigh on economic growth, hiring, and inflation," unquote. And once again, I forgot an article here. I should have put it in. But never forget the sword hanging over banks' heads of commercial real estate. We'll keep our eye on that. This is something that you've noticed they're not talking about it too much. All the pros, all the economists are talking about it, but these individuals are not talking about it in the legacy system. It's a problem there, but we'll keep our eye on it. It says, quote, "So as a result, our policy rate may not need to rise as much as it would have otherwise to achieve our goals. Of course, the extent of that is highly uncertain." Oh my goodness, Powell, why do you do this? He'll say something is going this way, then he'll say something else is going that way. He's actually pretty funny, actually. Quote, We've come a long way in policy tightening, and the stance of policy is restrictive, and we face uncertainty about the lagged effects of our tightening so far and about the extent of credit tightening from recent banking stresses, unquote, Powell said. Quote, having come this far, we can afford to look at the data and the evolving outlook to make careful assessments, unquote. All right, so, it says here, okay, well, let's end off with this little piece here. I was going to end it. It says gold jumped around $20 after hitting a low of 1,956.30 earlier in the session. We're going to see this volatility. We're going to see that volatility. June COMEX gold futures were last at $1,978.40, up 0.95% on the day. And I think palladium jumped like $60 or 66 at that particular time, something like that. Platinum was up a little bit, still saw just the tiniest little bit of volatility in platinum over the weekend. Nothing major, especially with what's coming in the future. Holy smokes. If we go into what they're calling now a severe recession, watch what happens, right? So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.